Well, I know swearing because we're on brand. Okay, let's just try our best not to swear this episode. And we don't have to have the little E next to us on Spotify.
What episode are we?
27.
Cool. Right, so back again with episode number 27 of the Living Room Chat podcast.
Back again.
Back to base, back to my living room, back to normal procedures after a few weeks off.
Yeah, it has been, because we obviously recorded double episode last time. So we did 25 and 26 in the same, well, literally one after the other, and then posted them at different times.
Yeah.
With a change of clothes in the middle to fool people.
So you were all tricked if you didn't see before.
But that must have been about a month ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah, man, I feel like I haven't seen you for ages. So
I know, after it's every week, and it's just like kind of just. But that's fine. That's the way things go, isn't it? Businesses go. We're still on track to do 40. We do need to pick up the pace, because when this one comes out, we've still got 12 more to do.
We'll be fine. We'll get there.
In 3 months, 4 months. That'll be fine. Cool.
But I think today you've got the topics. I'm going to react.
Yeah.
We've got 3 different things to go
So
through.
what we're going to talk about today, 3 interesting topics. And the good thing is I don't have any opinions or views on them at all. I just have, I have a view on them, but be interested to hear your thoughts. So mixed media messages, there's a reason for that. We'll dive straight into that. We'll talk about that one. Rightmove recently, I think they've teamed up with Nationwide, and you can now actually create your own agreement in principle, decision in principle for your mortgage via the Rightmove website. Good or bad, who knows? We'll discuss. And then last topic, I wanted to chat about, obviously, property videos for estate agents is becoming a thing, and there's a level people have reached, but there's certain estate agents that I've seen either on LinkedIn or social media where I feel like it's more about them, and specifically pet hate of mine. I don't know why, I just don't like it. So I've got a nice car, I feel. But it's a cool Mini, isn't it?
It is a cool Mini.
But estate agents at the start of their video driving on in their white Audi with the top down, with the gates opening. It's to start the video. Why? Why would
Slow
you do
motion, getting out the door, putting your glasses on.
taking his real Ray-Bans off with his, $5 Breitling on. Is it more about them and how they are perceived, or are they taken away from the property itself, or is that what helps get attraction for the property? I don't know.
Maybe.
Let's discuss it.
Let's come on to that.
Yeah,
cool. So
mixed media messages. Start with
messages. Yes, I know we've talked a lot about the media and their conflicting messages and the general negativity, but you noticed something in the news which I also noticed.
Yeah. So I'll send you. Obviously, you can chuck these on the screen right now. So. This was an article that came out, so we're recording this on a Wednesday. This was Tuesday the 1st of August at 2:06. Sky News headline, house prices likely to fall further after biggest drop in 14 years. Whew. Literally, doom and gloom, world's coming to an end. If you own a house, why? You're going to lose all this money. That's what I read from that.
Yeah.
Not even 18 hours later, this is first thing this morning, breaking news in the cost of living latest. 3 major lenders slash mortgage rates. NatWest, Halifax and Virgin Money are all making cuts from today. Upbeat chat to it, pretty positive, signs of the market being okay.
Yeah.
How can they post one story and then literally not even 24 hours later post a completely conflicting positive story? It just, if you're in the public and you're thinking of moving or you're worried about mortgages, what on earth are you thinking? Like, how do you process that?
But that's why it's worth ignoring the news altogether, isn't it? Because Sky News, you could have arguments for both of those articles to be true.
Yeah.
Like, either person who wrote either of those articles could say, well, I wrote it because of this, this and this, which is all factually correct. And neither of them are wrong.
No.
Like, house prices have dropped technically for the most time in 14 years. I haven't looked at the data, but for example...
factually, that is a correct statement.
And they are perhaps likely to fall further in some areas of the country which have experienced really high growth for the last 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
But then interest rates the next day coming down is a sign in the opposite direction. So it's just, if you're the average person, I just wouldn't listen to it at all.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Because how many times do we hear people say, oh, I've seen that house prices are going to fall further? And they'll see a headline like house prices are likely to fall further.
Yeah.
And they'll come to the viewing and they'll go, oh, well, I heard
Yeah.
house prices are falling further.
And then you ask them, oh, brilliant. What's your opinion and what's your facts to back that statement up? And they're like, well, it's just what everyone's saying, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but I hear that, and you're now one of those people that everyone is saying it. But what factually are you looking at? Because it might have dropped 3.8% in the last calendar year. That is factually correct. We were at in August 2022 was officially the highest point ever in history of the UK property market. 3.8% drop, biggest in 14 years. And I battle on about this. If you bought your property before 2020, it doesn't matter because you had 25% of growth in 2 years.
Yeah.
All right, it's down 3%. So you're still 15 or 20% higher than where you were when you bought it. So you're not a negative equity. There's no issues. You're going to make money from it. You've still got options. Whereas, buyers are just easy to jump on the headline and not really understand what they're talking about.
So if you just seen that article yesterday that was doom and gloom, and then gone to view a house and referenced it, but you could have your mortgage in principle from Halifax, for example, who have just dropped rates by 0.5%.
Yeah.
So you might not even know that your rate's coming down by 0.5%. So all of a sudden, your situation has just got
a little bit better.
Significantly better.
Yeah. But then again, and it might change again now because there's talk of interest rates going to go up again probably tomorrow. Bank of England raise it again. Will the banks just put the rates back up? Have they cut them today for headlines? But then the rate goes up tomorrow, or maybe they've already accounted for that. I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know. And then you could offer on a property tomorrow, but then you wouldn't be close to completing on it for, say, 4 months because there's a long chain. In that time, rates come down or go up, and you wouldn't get a new mortgage offer if rates went up. But if rates come down, in 2 months after you've agreed to sell, you can.
I think when it comes finalising on that point, when house prices come in, when there's a statement saying house prices drop by X amount, it's really important for anyone who's looking to buy somewhere or to sell somewhere to remember that is UK wide. Like your specific, and we've talked about micro markets before. What's happening in Reading is very different to what's happening in Cirencester or Cardiff or Birmingham. Very, very different markets, very, very different places. So although the average for the UK has dropped 3.8% in the last year, there'll be some areas that are either small 0.1, 0.2% drop, and there might be areas at a 10% drop. It's an average. Take that into account.
Which is, again, it's just, you might as well just ignore everything the media says.
But I think just finalising on the point, actually, if you want to buy a house, like the reality is, if you're upsizing, it is going to cost you a lot more to buy that house than it did 2 years ago. Like a lot more. The property values are still up, or they're down in the last year. They're still up from where they were. You're going to be paying a hell of a lot more on your mortgage. So actually, you do need to think about it. Like, although we're bashing the media here for just giving mixed messages, but fundamentally it is true. It is more expensive to move, and the market is going through a challenging time.
Yeah. And it's always going to get more expensive to move, though, isn't it? Because whether house prices go down but interest rates go up, your payment's still relatively. Because I always think about it as you've got interest rates and you've got house prices. So interest rates go up, house prices go down. Interest rates go down, house prices go up. But it's all about the average monthly payment, right?
Yeah, how much are you paying? No one gives a fuck. Like if you, 4 minutes, and I nearly cut it off as well. Sorry. All right, that's the last one. First one, last one. No one cares if you're. No one cares like 2%, 4%, 6%. If you ask someone what rate you pay on their mortgage, most people know now. But years gone by, they'll be like, "Oh, I don't know. I'm paying like £1,200 a month on my mortgage." You always look at pounds and pence, don't you? Whether it's 1,000, 1,500, £2,000 a month. That's what you know. I have a really interesting story actually coming onto mortgages, which we're going to be on the next subject. We'll talk about it, but remind me on that one, okay? But yeah, I think it's people look at pounds and pence, don't they? And that's, if you can afford it, great. If you can't, then fine, don't move.
Like, I know what my rate is. So if you're watching this and you have a mortgage and you don't know what your rate is, find out, because you might be reading a headline going, mortgage rates have gone up. You're like, oh, mortgage rates have gone up. But you might have a high rate anyway, and then you can get a lower rate. So it's all
well,
relative.
everyone's going to be higher than 6%, aren't they?
Wow.
Well, they're saying that. My first mortgage was 7.5%.
Some people just go on a tracker and they don't know any different.
Yeah.
Because when if someone's mortgage expires and it just goes onto a tracker and they don't think.
Anyway, should we segue nicely into the second subject? That wasn't even planned.
What's
Rightmove's AIPs.
We only mentioned it 10 minutes ago. I forgot what the second subject was already. Yeah. So Rightmove, a new feature on their website.
It's one that I've noticed recently. It actually came up on a sponsored ad, believe it or not.
Oh, wow.
So their retargeting on Facebook and social media is working. Well done, Rightmove. You've obviously got good people behind you managing your account there. So it said, get your decision in principle in 20 minutes. And I thought, well, I'll have a look at this. Look at this. And you can go on the website. They've always had their calculator, so you can work out what roughly you're going to be paying based on an average rate. That gives you a guide more than anything, very limited information. But you can actually do a decision in principle direct via Rightmove. That eliminates brokers, good or bad. I have a view on it, but it'd be interesting to hear your thoughts.
So, as agents, we both know that decisions in principle are not really worth the paper they're written on, or the PDFs they're saved to, because you can go on to a different website and get a decision in principle in 20 minutes.
Yeah,
it doesn't mean that that's what you can actually borrow when it comes down to it.
Yeah.
I think though, having a tool which is able to accurately give people a
solid indication.
Yeah, within a couple of percent.
Yeah.
I think where it gets tricky is when people are on jobs with commission or variable income and stuff like that. So you can be 10 or 20% out. Yeah. Whereas if you just have the same job with the same salary, it's easier to compute. Yeah. People also don't think about, and what those automated calculators don't factor in, is you might have a car payment, a phone payment.
Yeah. Because it says outgoings. I think I didn't go through the whole thing, because obviously I don't need a decision in principle, but it might be worth actually doing it. They do a soft credit check actually, so I don't really want that on my file, but I'm sure it won't be a problem.
Do they? Because I thought they didn't do a credit check.
No, they do. I double checked. They do a soft credit check, which I don't even know what the difference between a hard search and a soft credit check is.
Yeah, I don't know. Is there a time limit on that or something?
I don't know.
We should ask a broker that.
We should get a broker on.
We should get a broker on.
We should ask that. We can put we can show the little walkthrough now actually on the screen of how it goes. Maybe put it in the corner of the screen while we're talking, if you can manage that with your expertise on editing. But with the credit check there, you obviously have a number of expenses you put in, so it'll say how much you pay. And most people, I know I do sometimes, you round it down. Like you typically round your salary up and your outgoings down. And then when it comes to the nitty gritty, when you actually go for the mortgage, and this is why I think it's a bad thing. Arguments for both sides. A bad thing is someone who, I'm not saying they're naive, but maybe aren't as well educated in buying houses as some people. Mm-hmm. They might take that number, oh great, that's going to cost me £1,500 a month, I can borrow 250 grand, I've got my deposit, that's perfect, that's what I do. They go make an offer at 275 on a property. They send a decision in principle to the estate agent. The estate agent agrees the sale. Everything's moving forwards. They actually go properly for the mortgage, and it gets declined because they've got adverse credit or they've lied on their application effectively, which can happen to anyone. But if you were through a broker, that wouldn't happen because they would dig out that information. So then buyers left unhappy because they can't buy the house they want. Sellers pissed off. Agents annoyed. People have lost money. Mm-hmm. It could have really been dealt with better. Yeah. Flip side, have you got any bad reasons it'd be bad? Or
I just think for the reasons you said, is that if you're basing your finances, the loan you're going to get for the house is a very, very big element of buying the house. And if the whole thing is based upon incorrect numbers, then the buyer, the seller, the agent, nobody gets what they want.
No, yeah. The other thing as well, I believe it's powered by Nationwide, so Nationwide are backing the figures. So again, the reason why, and the flip side, why I think a broker is the best person to speak to, especially a whole of market broker, importantly, is Nationwide are only going to provide you the products that they offer at that time.
Yeah.
So if you've got, for example, NatWest and Virgin Money we mentioned in the previous segment, they've slashed rates. They won't come into account with the Rightmove calculator because they're only with Nationwide.
Yeah,
so you're not getting a full picture of what you can and cannot afford. So you might actually be able to borrow more than what it says.
It's just that understanding again of the whole of the market.
Yeah.
And we were talking about brokers, I think, on the last episode and the pros and cons. And I just think for the sake of 200 to 500 quid to have a broker working with you through the time of you purchasing the house, and you'll save that 500 quid because they'll probably be able to get you a better rate than you'd be able to get figuring out.
And it's peace of mind and a hassle not dealing with it.
And for us though, as for people who are agreeing the sale, having a broker who we can call and be like, this person's made an offer, have you checked them out? Yes, I've checked them out. And just having that reassurance, because the broker doesn't get paid unless it goes through either.
Yeah, so exactly that.
It's like us as the agent and the broker as a broker, we're on the same team.
Yeah.
So I always get a bit nervous when the buyer says, oh, we're working with, is it Alan C Mortgages? Just the online people.
They have got brokers.
Yeah. They're not.
I know exactly what you mean. Or I've gone through Money Supermarket and got a mortgage.
Yeah.
Have you though?
Yeah. So in terms of ranking a buyer, in an agent's eyes, I would say you're less reliable if you don't have a broker.
Yeah, I agree. And I'll be interested to see when I get the first, because I always request, when someone makes an offer, I always request their agreement of principle to start with. I don't take it as gospel. It's more just to show they've got one. Then I can look and I can refer that back to the sellers. But it'd be interesting how it comes through from Rightmove, whether it is officially like Rightmove head, like you're buying somewhere. Why don't you should give it a dummy
try
run.
it.
Give it a dummy run.
And then next week we'll report back.
Brilliant. Sounds awesome. But interesting. It could be a good thing though. I just think on the flip side, it does give people a good understanding. Whilst the mortgage calculator, how much you're actually going to have to pay, I would say is equivalent to us or someone doing an online house price valuation. Probably very similar. It's probably 80% accurate.
Yeah.
Whereas a decision in principle is more like 95%. But there's 5 or 10% of people there that are going to get misled.
Get it wrong. Yeah.
Anyway.
As always, education is
Absolutely. Speak to a broker. Make sure you speak to a broker. Speak to many brokers. Speak to loads of brokers.
Any broker. Broker you like, broker you trust. A broker who makes you laugh and can do a good job.
Yeah, that's the one. And one that comes back to you on the same day. Key requirement.
Yeah.
I think someone, if he leaves it, unless you email them at 8 o'clock at night, but if you email someone in the morning and they don't come back to you all day, are they really the person you want to work with?
It's just, I suppose, similar to an agent, finding someone you like and trust. Because the great thing about having a broker is if you do find a good one, say you get a 2-year term, the broker will reach out to you after a year and a half, work with you for the next rate, and then all of a sudden you can have a really long relationship with someone, touching base every couple of years, but you're just always on the pulse.
A story that you forgot to remind me to tell you. We'll finish up this mortgage section. Literally about 5 minutes ago, I said I've got a story to remind me to tell you in the mortgage section.
Let's do it.
This is it. So I had someone basically tell me about their mortgage woes, and they've been on a rate for 2 years at sub 1%, and they've just had that call with the broker because they're due for remortgage at the end of the year, and their mortgage payment is increasing by 100%, i.e. from 1,200 quid a month to £2,400 a month. Like, I've heard stories of people £700-800 a month more, but 1,200 quid doubling your mortgage payment a month. Like, wow. And that's one example, someone I know. There must be loads more examples like that.
What was the rate they had before?
0.99.
Yeah, because that's
like
an especially low rate.
2 years.
What sounds like an especially high rate.
Well, 6.5%.
Yeah, I suppose.
Well, they could have paid. There's one that's 5.8. It was a 5-year fixed.
Still not nice, is it?
Yeah, it's just I was like, wow, okay, ouch.
I think
that would hurt.
Yeah, they were saying on LBC this morning on the radio about the the Bank of England.
Thanks for clarifying. LBC was on the radio. Go on, mate. Sorry.
We're just about the Bank of England and their announcements, and they're very, very formal and like we're doing this to bring down inflation, blah blah blah. But that it doesn't help if you're the person whose mortgage rate has gone from 1,200.
You see someone standing there saying, "Oh yeah, exactly that." Nice polished off speech. Just got to batten down the hatches. We're there for you. We're going to make it happen. We're going to make this economy grow. And someone sat there thinking, I've got an extra £1,200 going out a month for nothing.
Yeah.
Like nothing, just borrowing the money that I have already borrowed. Like, what? Nothing they can do. What can you do?
What this should be, though, is a reminder to people out there that there is a danger to borrowing as much money as you possibly can.
Yeah, it's all well and good when it's 1-2%, but when it gets higher, ouch.
And also brokers won't tell you this, but there is a danger to borrowing as much money as you possibly can, because if interest rates go up, like they have, you can have bigger payment than you can afford.
Yeah.
And also brokers will tell you to generally get the longest mortgage term that you can.
Yeah.
Because you can always overpay, is what they'll say.
Yeah.
But you're just, again, taking on more debt and more interest over that longer period.
I know.
So everyone has a different opinion on that, and I'm not saying my opinion is right. I just think it's something to be aware of.
It is funny. We just finished up on this because we've been on this topic for a little while, but it's funny now. Like we're obviously into our 30s, and actually there'll be a time when my next mortgage comes around again, I probably won't be able to get a 35-year mortgage term because as soon as you hit retirement age, they don't do it. So the longest I'll be able to do is like 33, 34 years. It's a bit scary.
It's going to get longer though. I think I saw an announcement where there was some lender who's going to do it now till in your 70s for employed income.
In the view that retirement age will have increased again by the get to that point.
Retirement age will increase. People will be taking out longer mortgages.
I got down to 26 years on my mortgage left after starting on 35 because I'd overpaid and took a chunk out. And then when I remortgaged to start my business, I went back up to 35.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm fine actually, but anyway, there we go.
Yeah. So anyway, so last topic.
Do you have a view on this?
Agent videos.
Yeah. And there's particular agents. There's one obviously international agent now they claim, but London-based agent predominantly, but deal with high-end properties.
Yeah.
Who are very, like the persona they give off is, I'm rich.
Yeah.
I'm incredible. I'm the best thing ever. You need me to sell your house, not the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah. You need to sell yourself to me as a client that you deserve to work with us.
And I know for a fact there are people who will be very drawn to that.
Yeah.
Oh, I love his confidence. I need you representing me.
Yeah.
And there's a place for that. I could never pull that off.
No.
I could never pull that off because I'm too, I'm just not that way inclined.
No. That was the point. That was kind of the whole topic of conversation. I think you nailed it there. That would appeal to some people, but others it would just rub up the wrong way. It's like white boy estate agency again, just on another level.
Yeah.
But pulling up on a brand new Range Rover with a massive watch and this like super sharp suit, slick hair, you look $1 million quid. You look more expensive. Your worth is more than that house is worth, and it's £1 million plus.
Yeah.
How many clients actually buy into that though?
Yeah, I don't know. What I like about it is I feel like estate agency has gone from a place, maybe in the early 2000s or late 90s or whatever, where everyone was the same. Mm-hmm. Everyone did the same leaflets, everyone wore the same suits, everyone had the same office setup, everyone charged the same commission more or less.
And all that separated you was your personality as a person when you're in the living room.
Yeah, whichever valuer Mr. and Mrs. Jones liked the best is the firm they'd go with, and the rest would...
The good old days.
Yeah, whereas now you've got your avocados, you've got your purple bricks, you've got the firms we were referring to.
Yeah, Tyre & Ash is the one I was referring to.
Your Tyre & Ashes of the world. You've still got your agency, so there's more choice, which I think is a good thing. I had a message from someone on Tyre & Ash on Instagram.
Yeah.
Just like, how's it getting on? How are you finding the market? Blah blah blah. I was like, market slowed down, but it just means, you know, you've got to knuckle down and work a bit harder. That's how I see it.
Yeah.
And they came back to me and said, oh, it's not about working harder, it's about working smarter, law of attraction, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
And like, I'm not dissing the law of attraction. I think that's powerful if you can manifest it in the way that works for you.
Yeah.
But that's not going to help me sell this 3-bedroom semi in Reading.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. I totally, I get what you mean. And that's why I question like what I wear on appointments. I'm going straight to evaluation after this pod, wearing what I'm wearing now. So I've got a white polo for the audio listeners, white polo shirt, black jeans, Vans, tattoos out.
Yeah, man.
And I'm going to go and see an old boy at a retirement home. I might put my jacket on for it, to be fair, like my jacket. But because I know sometimes you rock a shirt, don't you?
Sometimes
I like
an Oxford shirt and jeans combo.
Yeah.
Maybe some Chelsea boots in the winter.
But I'm not at that point where I'm going to be driving through electric gates in my car.
No, it's that classic camera angle where you got like the back of the car going through the gates.
Yeah. And they've got the private plate saying, I've sold it, or something like that, sold.
The drone shot as the car pulls in on the driveway, and then there's a slow motion. Like
getting out, pulling the sleeves up, like, you know, a bit like The Rock always does that, doesn't he? Dwayne Johnson always his pose is always like doing cufflinks on it. He's not got. But then again, on the flip side, there's that Welsh estate agent who does all the they've been a few in our group chat when he posts little videos. Do you know what I'm talking about? He does the same thing. He's got a white Audi convertible. Right. But I watched a video on LinkedIn this morning, actually. I've posted a few days ago. And he was doing an intro video, but he was driving along the front of the sea line, basically. Had his camera set up, and he was talking whilst he was driving towards the house. And I was like, it actually looks all right, to be fair.
Yeah, I think there's no right or wrong. And I think if, it'd be nice in 10 years to get to a place where if you're a client, you'd be like, oh, I like Ryan's videos, so I want my house to be represented in that way. Or I like the wanky, showy-offy videos.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Quick question on social media. Should you, and there's, again, no opinion on this, should you go back and delete posts that are older than a year ago, for example? Again, reason I looked at an estate agent, they only had 15 posts. But I can see they posted over 1,000 posts, but they only had 15 on their profile. So they've obviously gone back and deleted them as they go. I don't know why you do that.
I notice people do this on Instagram as well. So they can have a huge Instagram following, but it'll be like 9 posts. It's like, well, obviously you've had more than 9 posts.
I don't understand the reason for it. Maybe just people get more, you see your stuff more.
It's a brand thing. I think for some people it's like embarrassed to look back at stuff.
Because I know I've posted some videos thinking like, oh, that was a bit shit, to be fair. I rushed that one. Or back in the early days, I was like, that is terrible. Should I go back and delete them?
I still cringe really hard at my own videos. Yeah. But for me, I'm now in just a place where I'm like, I'm uploading it, I'm putting it out there. Yeah. And I like the fact, this is going to get a bit deep, I like the fact if I died tomorrow, all of that stuff would be up there online.
Until your account gets closed for deactivity. But I hear what you say.
But so I'm just all about post it.
Fair enough. Interesting. Cool. Call that a wrap, shall we?
Yeah, we're half an hour in, so...
Fantastic. Thanks for listening and watching. Sorry it's been a few weeks since we were available. We'll try and make them a bit more... We'll get back to a bit more of a momentum. I can't do this for... We'll talk about that next time. Thanks for watching. Follow us on socials. Keep an eye out. Sorry, I'm out of practice, mate. Should we start again this bit?
Well, you know what to do. Find us on socials.
Find us on the reels and stuff as well. But yeah, appreciate you guys watching and listening. We'll see you soon for episode 28. Cheers.